Hey everyone, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm going to be talking today about heading structure and why it's so important for digital accessibility. So, first and foremost, headings provide structure to documents and web pages, and that structure can help screen reader users navigate through a page. And obviously, that structure also helps non-visually impaired people navigate. Here's what I mean. When a sighted person looks at a page like this one, which is the Wikipedia page on universal design, it's easy to distinguish the sections by looking at things like font size and color. We know that the topic of the document is universal design because at the top it's big and in an interesting font, and it's distinguished from the rest of the body text. We also know what the subsections are when we scroll down, like principles, goals, and examples, because they're also formatted distinctly. That content also needs to be marked as headers in the structure of the document itself in order to be useful to a screen reader user. In the same way that we see a big title in a different font and think, oh, that's the title of the page, a screen reader user knows, oh, that text is tagged as heading 1, so it must be the title of the page. And it's the heading structure that gives them that knowledge. And so the most important heading has rank 1, and headings go all the way from H1 to H6, where 6 is the least important header. And I'll be saying header 1, heading level 1, or H1. All three of those terms are interchangeable in this case. So H1, heading level 1, is typically the title of the page, or document, or web page, or whatever, and each document should only have one H1. H2 represents sections of the page, H3 represents subsections, and H4 is for subsections of subsections, and so on until H6. So basically, I hope now you're just seeing that headers are acting as a table of contents. They tell us what to expect from a document and help us find what we're looking for more easily. So let's identify some headings on this page to make sure this explanation is making sense. We know our heading 1 is up at the top, it's universal design. It's the name of the page, it's the topic. We can look at this handy contents panel for the rest. Our sections of the page are principles, goals, examples, design standards, and so on. These are level H2. We can see that within the Design for All section, there are subsections: background, examples, ICT, and European organizational networks. These are heading level 3s, H3s. This page doesn't go any further down than H3, but it could theoretically go all the way down to H6. And so although it's hard to see without the tags themselves on the page, this page doesn't ever skip heading levels. It moves from H1 to H2 and from H2 to H3. That's really important. It's essential to never skip heading levels. A common mistake and justification is people skip heading levels because the built-in visual appearance of a lower level is preferable to the heading level that's meant to be there. This is not a good excuse to skip levels. There are almost always built-in ways to change the visual appearance of headings, and even if there isn't, comprehension should always come before aesthetics. There is, in fact, one situation where you can skip heading levels, and that is if a subsection ends the previous section at the same time. So if we're looking within the Design for All section, we see subsections: background, examples, ICT, and European organizational networks. We are going to imagine that within the European organizational networks section, which is H3, there is another subsection, an H4. We can say it's the last bullet point, UCAN. So there's an H4 titled UCAN, it's got all this information. When you finish writing the content of the UCAN heading level 4 section, and that ends, it's then okay to go back to the barrier-free concept, which is a heading level 2. So we're going from H4 to H2, because when we ended our H4 section, we also ended the previous H2 section of Design for All. And that's the only time it's acceptable to do that. And so that, as an overview, is heading structure. It's just a way of dividing up a page to navigate it more easily. I hope this video gave you a bit more insight into how important it is, and I hope that you implement proper heading structure in your own documents, and in any documents you're mediating in the future. Thanks so much for listening.